Negative news sinks stocks for the week. However, stocks and market breadth is quite significantly oversold. Fear of World War III, I can't believe I'm saying it, pushes the gold higher. At the same time, dollar is about to enter a new uptrend, which should weigh on gold. And we'll finish up with Bitcoin, which could be headed to 40,000. All this and more in today's edition of MasterChartsTrading.com market recap for Friday, October 20th, 2023. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, share this video. Also hit the notification button. It looks like a bell, so you can receive my notifications. These actions are what keeps this channel going and are important to promote this video. Please don't forget to hit the like button. If you are a subscriber, stay tuned. We'll cover all of those various stocks. We'll cover crude oil in the members only section, various ETFs like SPY, QQQ, IWM, bonds, world markets, large cap stocks, as well as small cap and various stocks that are more speculative in nature, as well as gold miners and gold. If you're not yet a subscriber, consider signing up by going to MasterChartsTrading.com and signing up for one of the products. As always, throughout the presentation, I'll be using my proprietary indicators, which you can see on this chart. They're green, blue, red, and yellow lines, which is pretty much all I use for trading. And you can have them on your chart for TradingView.com. This is a TradingView.com interface right here. So the week was very eventful, I guess, and we'll start with weekly chart first. So we're looking at S&P 500, and each candlestick is a whole week's worth of activity. You can change the setting by going into the interval interface. And so on this chart, we have topped out here in July of this year and pretty much have been coming down in this wave-like pattern. So notice this week's candlestick. It's very large. It's very red. That means that we opened higher. And we closed lower than the open, right? Also, throughout the week, we tried to get above. We actually went as high as previous high from the week of October 9th. However, we did not hold there, and bears came in and started selling non-stop until, notice that we were selling until the very last minute of the entire week. So this is not a good looking candle. It's bearish. It's a negative candle. It has signs of resistance at the top because notice there's a shadow, this tail. That means the bulls tried to push the prices higher, but the bears said no, and additionally they pushed the prices all the way to the end of the entire week until the very end of the session. Notice this is a daily chart, and notice that we closed basically near the lows. So overall, this was a pretty obviously negative week for stocks for multiple reasons. If you have been following the news, we have a very dangerous situation in the Middle East that is powered by greatly entrenched animosity towards the Jews by many people, including the Arab world. But even not only in the Arab world, there is a lot of anti-Semitism, unfortunately. And this is creating a very dangerous situation because President Biden said that United States and hopefully the rest of the Western world will support Israel in this endeavor. And it's sort of like a two opposing ways of thinking, where we have the democratic power versus the autocratic power, and autocratic power can be represented by places like Russia, China, of course most of the Middle East, where they have really no democracy whatsoever, and the Western powers represent the democratic powers, as well as some of the Eastern powers like Japan, for example, is democracy as well. Taiwan also comes to mind. So it is shaping up to be really a struggle between two ways of thinking, of two ways of I don't know, philosophy, I guess, almost. And unfortunately, the Jews are in the middle of this whole thing. The Israel is in the middle of this whole thing, and it's sort of like a trigger, because additionally there is also strong religious feelings by the Muslims. So it is a very explosive situation. It could go sideways very easily. I am praying to God that some sort of a limited engagement will take place, but it looks bad. So let's just hope for the best at this point. Looking at this chart, we are using my indicators again. So notice on this chart, this is a weekly chart. Notice that we have closed below this blue line conclusively. So what this means is we are now oversold. Now we are still in an uptrend. Notice the uptrend began at least in April, but possibly even earlier in January of this year. Now, when we are in an uptrend, we need to see a pullback towards the blue line. So let's look at the daily chart, and we are indeed seeing this pullback towards the blue line, and now we are indeed oversold. When we are oversold and we're still within a bigger uptrend, it's a recipe for a bounce higher. So I'm expecting a bounce to unfold. At least a small bounce should come pretty soon. Will it actually happen? With all the volatility coming out due to again the multiple now conflicts in the world. We have the Ukraine, which has been going on for a while, and now we have the Israeli conflict that's going on for just a few about 2 weeks or so. But again, it threatens to unravel the entire fabric of current world order. At this point, let's just kind of look at this chart, and right this instant I'm looking at this chart from point of view of an uptrend of a bull market for stocks, and I'm expecting a bounce. Now, will it actually happen is another story. We can also project the indicators into the future, and notice that there is not that much difference from today into even January of next year, 2024. We're about the level where we are going to be expecting these levels to occur. I mean, they might slightly get higher, but not that significantly. So what I'm trying to say is, if back here, let's say in September, notice how the indicators curved up. This curving up was pretty significant, but going forward it's not that significant. So we're pretty much going to be judging that this is going to be the level for a bounce to anticipate, and bear market is going to be around 3,800, but maybe slightly higher, about 3,900 going into November. So not much different, 3,850 versus 3,900. So for now, again, I'm looking at this chart and I'm seeing that we are oversold, and we're likely to get at least a bounce. And I will show you several more charts where I will say, well, I'll make a point that potentially we're very close to a bounce. And so again, I'm going to show this chart. This is bullish percent index. So I've already explained what it is. You can go to chart school on StockCharts.com and type in bullish percent index, and it will tell you what it is. So bullish percent index is based on this funny looking point and figure charting, and when we have a point and figure buy signal, it's a bullish percent index +1. Okay, so on this chart we have S&P 500 bullish percent index. So out of the 500 stocks, how many stocks are on a buy signal? And notice that recently we had only 28% of stocks on a buy signal in early October, and I was saying that it's a recipe for at least a bounce. We got a very small bounce. However, we're now around, actually below those levels when we got that bounce. The bullish percent index is currently slightly higher at 31%. It is still very oversold. I would say that anything below 40%, even below 50% in an uptrend in a bull market is, relatively oversold, but below 40 is pretty deeply oversold, and we're pretty deeply oversold. So it looks like we are expecting at least a bounce. Okay, ideally this bounce should carry S&P 500 to new 52-week highs. Will this happen? It's anybody's guess, but we are definitely oversold, and I'm anticipating at least a bounce according to this system. Another important measure that I look at is within the S&P 500, how many stocks are above the 200-day moving average. So I can, for example, this is Apple, and I can say that this is a 200-day moving average. Okay, so notice that the price is currently above the 200-day moving average, so this is going to be like +1. And out of the 500 stocks within the S&P 500, we can say how many stocks are above the 200-day moving average. That means they're going to be counted as +1. So right this instant we are at 52, actually more than 52-week low, for how many stocks within the S&P 500 are above the 200-day moving average. Notice that we're currently only 32.8% of stocks are above the 200-day moving average. It's a pretty low level. Okay, anything below 50 is already pretty low, but below 40 is quite low, and we're below we're up like below 35. We're at 32 right now. Notice that we haven't had this experience since 2022, October 2022. We were at that point in a bear market. This indicator by itself does not mean we're in a bear market. I only look what would it take for stocks to enter a bear market. We need to S&P 500 SPX needs to close below 3850. Okay, this is the level that I'm looking for if we want to consider that S&P 500 is now in a bear market. So we're about 8% away. Can we drop that much? Sure. If on Monday we wake up and there is news of Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Jordan all attacking Israel, can the stocks collapse that much? Sure, easily. Most likely they will close the stock markets also. And additionally, I don't know if you have, for example, if you have cash parked in your brokerage account, will you be able to access your cash? All right, you won't be able to sell stocks, if the war breaks out, but will you even be able to access your cash? Now that's a very good question. By the way, if you have an idea, make a comment. So right now, percentage of stocks is very above the 200-day moving average is very low. Okay, so we are looking again for at least a bounce, like a reflex, bounce. Ideally, once again, this bounce should carry us to new 52-week highs, but we've been having a lot of trouble making new highs. So this correction so far is not over, but we're getting to that territory where we're so oversold that a bounce is quite likely at this point. All right, let's switch gears and look at dollar. I will show you gold in a second. Dollar is important because gold is traded in dollars. I had a question last time. Somebody asked me, what we're gonna do if dollar collapses. And number one, I don't think dollar will collapse because I don't see what we will use. What are we going to use instead of the dollar? Are we going to use British pound? Are we going to use euro? Are we going to use Bitcoin? They are all, viable alternatives, but dollar is really the dominant currency still, and I just don't see it really changing anytime soon. Something could happen, but I just don't see it right now. Dollar has been appreciating since making the low here in July. It's really been on a tear. Notice the way the indicators are curving down. We're literally half a percentage point away from the blue line. Okay, so a blue line would imply that we are making the dollar will be entering a new uptrend. Okay, I'm projecting the indicators into the future right now, so notice what's happening. We're so close to this line. Additionally, notice the indicators are curving down. So my best case scenario is that we're going to I'm gonna see if I can do a ghost feed. There it is. Okay, so my best case scenario is that we're going to kind of move higher above the blue line, maybe even make a slight high, but then we will most likely kind of follow the blue line down into November, bottom out, and then continue higher into December, January. Okay, so as my prediction, I'm going to leave it on and see what happens, see if we can, if this actually happens. So just for now, let's say we do break out, we move a little bit higher, dollar will move a little bit higher, but then it actually starts moving lower into mid-November. So as always, I'm going to look at, when we're now looking at gold, XAU divided by USD. So if the bottom part of this equation is about to get slightly weaker, that means gold will get even stronger. Okay, the lower part of this equation will get smaller. That means the top part of this equation will continue higher. Okay, so we're looking at daily chart. Notice this pretty strong rally and big candle here on the 13th of October, last Friday, followed by this week very strong move higher. Notice on the weekly chart of gold, here's two big green candlesticks. Notice also we're touching this green support resistance line, so we're attempting to break into above this green support resistance line. So I'm going to zoom out even further, and notice what's happening here. So just from a point of view, you don't have to know really anything about anything, but this is a triple top. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, top 1 in August of 2020, top 2 in March of 2022, top 3 in May of 2023. Okay, triple tops are bullish formations once they're broken to the upside. Okay, you can also think about it as a cup and handle, something like that. Okay, so once we break this formation, okay, So I already pointed out this possibility of a move significantly higher. But we need to break above the highs. We need to break above the 2020, 2022 highs, okay? And the reason why I gave this projection of gold moving to about 2,500 is because of the depth of this pattern. Okay, so depth of this pattern is about about 440 points or so. So this is a depth, about 440 points. So if we move that high, that's about 2,500. Can this happen? It's very much possible. Yeah, especially if there is tension in the Middle East continues, and the fear is really overpowering. People want to have something, to protect themselves in case of emergency. Gold comes to mind. It's not going to really protect you, but it might help you survive. I think that's another topic. But yes, I think that we are in a very unpredictable and uncomfortable times is the word. Okay, so we are moving very strongly higher for gold. This is a very big candlestick here, especially last week, and follow through this week. So we're approaching that level where if we break above it, we can see a significantly move higher for gold afterwards. And Bitcoin. So looking at this chart, again, this is a weekly chart of Bitcoin. We can trade Bitcoin either way. We were trading it on the downside. Notice the downward facing arrows. We were shorting it in April of 2022, and we made new lows. Finally, we turned around here in May of this year. Notice a breakout into a new uptrend. I bought Bitcoin myself. I hold Bitcoin currently. I bought it on 2 occasions. I'm still holding it. So I bought here at 26,000, and again here at 2760, 2630, so about $1,000 apart. I'm in profit right now, and notice what's happening. Same as gold, we're trying to break above this green support resistance line. It looks good. It looks like it wants to go higher, really. Now there is resistance clearly up here at previous 52-week highs from July of this year, but I think once they overcome, we can also do a small projection. Let me try to do a small projection. So at the very least, we can see a move of that much, which is about 25%, so about $6,000. If we break above the previous high, so if we break above this high, then above, we're looking at about 40,000 for Bitcoin. If we close above this previous highs, and it could literally happen in just a few trading sessions, because Bitcoin is so volatile. Really, you can see like how big those candlesticks could be. So I think it's a very reasonable thing to expect Bitcoin to continue higher, and especially if we take out those previous highs from July, I think easily $40,000 is the next target. And once again, I am long. We're long at MasterChartsTrading.com. And thank you for watching up until now. Again, please don't forget to hit the like button. All of this is what keeps this channel going. Make a comment if you have any comments, or if you have any questions, please make a comment. Head over to MasterChartsTrading.com, click on sign up, and sign up one of the products. I have 2 products and 1 combination. So I have trading indicators. These indicators that you see on the chart, this blue, the green, blue, red, and yellow line, they are available for this interface, which is called TradingView.com. It's a free interface. All you need to do is sign up on my site, and I will open the door for you for these indicators on my site. Newsletters, I send out daily alerts and weekly members only videos. This week we will cover all of these various securities, including ETFs, various foreign ETFs, large cap stocks like IBM, Chevron, Merck, small cap stocks, and various speculative securities like Affirm Holdings, Cloudflare, or another Realty Wayfair, as well as gold related. We are also trading those. The best deal, of course, is to get both trading indicators and newsletters, so sign up for that. Again, thank you for watching until now. Thank you for hitting the like button, and thank you for watching, and I will see you next week, and have another great trading week. Bye-bye.